I found this book very interesting because it speaks about all the chess players that came from Ukraine, from the patriarchs, let's say, the one that started it all, that were the one that the new generation study, to up to today. There are a lot of games, and I believe that watching these games will help to improve. Or if it doesn't, at least he will show us about these players from Ukraine. And so I hope I will now set up the chessboard and start to show some games from this book. So the correct name they used, it was the Pioneers. And the first pioneer we are going to know, it's Leonid Stein. Here we can see a picture of Mr. Stein, Grandmaster Stein. The first game is between Leonid Stein and Simeon Furman. Furman was one of the main coaches of Karpov for many years. And nothing, Stein is very famous, a great attacker, beautiful games, so clearly it's a pleasure to watch this game. It seems Ray Keane wrote a classic biography on Leonid Stein called Master of Attack of 1976. And the notes to this game of Vasyl Ivanchuk, that is another very famous player that we all love watching the games. E4, C5, so Stein is white, Furman is black. This was played in Moscow in 1959. Knight F3, E6, D4, C takes D4, Knight takes D4, and Knight C6, and Bishop E3. Please remember that I will try to put a QR code for this game, so for those that like to see the game on their board, no problem. They just need to click on the QR code and it will open the browser with the game uploaded, okay? Here it says, a very rare move, but quite typical of the original attitude to opening preparation of Leonid Stein. We can also remember his famous game against Lajos Portish at the Stockholm Interzonal 1962, where Leonid played 5 Knight D2. So he played this move, Knight D2, okay? After 4 A6, so it seems A6 was played. Okay, it's different. Also, it's important to understand that Semyon Furman was one of the best theoretical experts in the Soviet Union. Because of this, it was very logical to not play more popular lines against him like 5 Knight C3. And here he gives a line with Knight C3, okay? So, Knight F6 and Bishop D3. It seems that also Knight C3 was a good alternative. And here Grandmaster Ivanchuk puts a note and gives some lines, okay? D5. There is nothing wrong with Queen C7, Ivanchuk says, and transposes after Knight C3 and D6 in the Timman variation. Okay? So for those who like to play the Timman variation. D5. E takes D5. Now it was also possible to play Knight D2. Okay, but it seems that black has a better position after, so not good. And it seems that there is another game, Tivyakov against Sutovsky, which remind Ivanchuk after this move, after Knight takes D5. He says, after this capture with a knight, the position starts to remind me of a famous game, Tivyakov-Sutovsky, from the Alapin system in Plovdiv in 2008. And here he gives the game, I think, up to a certain point, up to move 9. which is probably what reminds him of that game. Okay. And here he also quotes that there is another game by Fischer and Spassky, and there is a free option that he quotes. So clearly, Grandmaster Ivanchuk is showing his theoretical preparation when he's watching this game, because he's able to immediately remember some games from the past and what happened and why. So that's the kind of very important, right? Okay. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, and of course here it says one thing, that knight takes e3 was a mistake. Okay, if you thought to play this, it was a mistake. Why? Because knight takes d8, and then knight takes d1, and follow knight takes f7. Okay, so that's the reason why knight takes e3 wasn't a good idea. And now I will pause a second the video to bring the position back. Okay, more or less we were here when white played knight takes c6, and the black, instead of knight e3, that is a mistake, correctly played b takes c6, bishop d4, and knight b4. This knight b4 is inaccuracy or an imprecision for Ivanchuk, if he is the one that also annotated that. Furman wants to create concrete threats, but I'm not sure that he chose the best method in this position. For example, it's very logical and solid to play knight c5. So this is the move Ivanchuk think black should have played, and he gives obviously a line which I want to show you, because there can be mistakes in this line. So bishop e5, bishop d6, good move, and here our friend shows us bishop takes d6, but it doesn't explain why bishop g7 is wrong. Okay, bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, castle, and now it's very important that black plays this following move, bishop b7. If black plays castle, that's a blunder. Why? Well, try to find it out, pause the video, you are white, try to find it out. If you pause the video, here we go. c4 is the move that wins practically. So why this move is a problem for black? Because if black moves that knight, unfortunately, behind there is the queen that is unprotected. Okay, so let's say he plays this, the next move is this, check, take, and take. Okay, and that's the reason why. So I will now pause the video, bring it back, so you can eventually enjoy the game from the right moment. Okay, so more or less we were here, and he played this move knight b4 that wasn't the best. Okay, white plays bishop e4, which is interesting. He has two bishops in the center. They are really strong because they control so many squares. Bishop a6, very interesting move because prevents the king from castling. a3, oops. It seems another interesting possibility was c3, okay? At least this is what Ivanchuk says. Looks like another interesting possibility for white in this position, but probably Leonid Zakharovich decided that the weakness of a d3 square can be more important in some variation than the possibility of an attack, queen a1, a4, d1, a4, sorry. So a3 was the move it was played in the game, and knight d5, it's the black answer, to which white plays this. Now, here there is a diagram. Again, as I mentioned before, diagrams are very, very important, because generally they are put there because the annotator of the game wants you to stop and think, you are black, what are you going to do? Okay, so pause the video, try to find the right move for black. I will show you what was played in the game. That was f5. f5 is a mistake. Okay, what was the right move? The right move was rook c8, which has also an exclamation point. I will just give you a brief line. Here the analysis is a little more deep than what I would go into a video. Queen f3, okay, c5, bishop e5, bishop d6, bishop takes g7, very interesting, boom, rook g8, which means one thing, that the king is safe in the center. Bishop takes d5, e takes d5. No, I don't think he's really safe in the center. Bishop f6, bishop e7, bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, and king d1. And here it says it's not totally clear, black has enough compensation for the pawn, in my opinion, which is Grandmaster Ivanchuk opinion. I don't know either why he likes so much this position, since this rook e1 can be a problem to solve, right? So I don't really know what is black doing here. And I think the pawn structure by white is a little better, right? Well, I don't know. Let's bring the position back and see what it was. Let me pause the video for a second. Okay, so this was the position, and black played f5. That's considered a mistake. Now, probably you should also be white at this point and decide why this is a mistake. So you need to try to find what is the white move that refute this move, okay? The move was queen h5, and here it says probably Semyon Abramovich missed the idea with queen h5 and queen h3 in his calculation. Other options like bishop d3 look totally playable for black. Okay, so it seems other options were better for black, so that's a reason. Okay, g6, and now he plays queen h3, and here there is knight f4. Obviously this point is the following: what happens if black takes, right? Probably it's bad because there is this, right? Ooh, I don't know. That's a possibility, but there is also the queen taking on a6, that is another possibility. So black played knight f4, but Ivanchuk gives rook g8. This is not really good, but it's very hard to propose a reasonable alternative here, and shows rook g8. Why? Because queen takes h7, f takes e4, queen takes g8, knight f4, bishop g7, knight takes g2, and king d1 is obviously bad for black. Let's remember that the king cannot go here because there is this, okay? So not only he must go here, but he couldn't even castle, because if the square where the king must go through is controlled by an enemy piece, you cannot castle. So that's one of the rules that many people discover only through playing chess for a while, because castling is a king move, it's not a rook move, okay? It's a king move, so the king must pass on safe territory. With that said, let me pause the video and go back to the position that we were before. Okay, so this was the position after black played g6, queen h3, and knight f4 instead of rook g8 proposed by Ivanchuk. Knight f4, and here there is finally a little imprecision by Stein that plays bishop takes c6, okay? Instead, Ivanchuk says queen c3 is even stronger. Boom. Okay, whatever you say, Ivanchuk. Bishop takes c6. Let's see. King f7, queen e3, bishop c8. No, sorry, bishop h6. And queen e5, good move. Now both black rooks are attacked here and here, and then there is a trap of a castle long side that is not good. Okay, so here we go. Why this move is not good? Because that's a trap, okay? But the point I don't understand is this. He says it's a trap, but it's not really a trap, because he played queen e5. So if he was here, would have been the same. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it would have been the same. So, okay, let's see. Let's see that the position is like this, and white plays this move that is wrong. It's a big blunder. What do you think black is going to play? Okay? So this is something kind of interesting. I noticed that Ivanchuk just give the minimum annotation, the rest you must do it by yourself. So if you are a beginner, probably it's a little difficult to understand. But here it is. Queen takes d4. Why white cannot take? Because when he takes, there is boom, fork, check, move, boom. I don't know, at this point he plays also this, right? So I don't know if it's really so bad like he says, but yes, it's bad for black because of these two pawns on this side, they are pass pawns. I don't know, it's definitely a fight, a big fight. But I'm sure that obviously Grandmaster level this is a big difference, okay? And there was another situation here that we should look at, because it's interesting. These little traps, they make you understand how difficult was the game. So I will pause and put the position back. Okay, I just go back to the diagram so it's easy, okay? Queen h3, knight f4. Sorry, I forgot a pawn here. Pawn takes c6, king on f7, queen e3, bishop h6, and here we were watching this move that was wrong and we understood why. But now your turn is to say clearly, oh, wait a minute, what if white plays this? Bishop takes a8. So what do you think is black playing? It's obviously knight d3, the move. C takes d3, bishop takes e3, okay? And after if takes e3, there is e5. Bishop takes e5, rook e8. And here Ivanchuk says that this kind of traps are too primitive for Grandmaster level, of course, but for us that we are not grandmaster level, probably they would work. So it's a good calculation, okay? It's a good calculation exercise. Now I will bring back the position as it was, as I remember it or not, because obviously I don't think I remember it. That's a good thing. I don't remember it. And so I will eventually put this in the right places, right? Let's hope so. I think this was here. Yeah, more or less I think we should be here. Tac, tac, tac. And he played queen e5, okay, instead of, we said, bishop takes a8. So he said these traps, this castle and this are too primitive for a grandmaster, and so they wouldn't fall for it. That's what Ivanchuk says. I don't know, because I think in grandmaster practice we have seen everything and the contrary of everything. So sometimes humans are tired, and so on and so forth. It's not so easy, right? Okay, now what did Black play? It seems that Black played rook c8, but Ivanchuk has an interesting view on this move. He says that this could have been the best chance for Black, and he gives a line. Honestly, I'm a little tired by myself, and we are just like at 21 minutes. So I don't know who is going to pay for this long analysis. But after rook c8, we have queen takes h8, queen takes h8, bishop takes h8, and obviously rook takes c6, g3, and knight h3. Also, this is an inaccuracy. It seems the best move was knight d5. Was certainly more stubborn. At least the black pieces would have been much better coordinated than in the game. Okay. After knight h3, he plays 21 c4. This is a great move. Yeah. And of course, it seems it's hopeless, the situation, if black takes here and he gives a line, but black takes on d2, okay, kings take d2, knight takes f2, rook h c1, bishop takes c4, and bishop d4, and here Ivanchuk says white has a decisive advantage and is winning. That's why you need to study the endgames, okay? Because if you study the endgame like Ivanchuk, you would know why white is winning. Knight e4, and here it just gives the rest of the game, which is a little long, but it's okay. King e3, e5, bishop takes e5, rook e6, bishop takes c4, rook takes e5, bishop c7, check, king f6, rook takes a7, and knight takes g3, rightly, king d3, knight e4, knight takes h7, it's a Pac-Man game by this point, f4, he tries to push the pass pawn, but rook f1, g5, h4, and king f5, h takes g5, knight takes g5, rook h8, rook e3 check, rook c4, rook e4, check again, rook b5, rook e5, check again, rook king f4, and f3. Well, I think also this game was kind of very hard fought. It's not a very easy win from the point of view of a non-grandmaster, right? Rook f8, king g4, rook g1, king h5, and now there is the last last move of the game, which is very interesting because is boom, this. Now, once black plays this, white has to pass pawn on this side, and I think it's clear who is going to win, right? Especially with this rook that prevents this king from going anywhere. Beautiful game, I would say. So this was chapter 1, the pioneers, and it was about Leonid Stein, this game. Then we have Vladimir Savon in game 2. I will show that another time. I hope you enjoyed this one.